back to another of our live stream book cover creations. Today is St. Patrick's Day, so we're creating a green-based cover, and I am so excited. This is going to be gorgeous. So we've got this fantastic model in this beautiful green dress, and she's going to be running across the green fields, and like all the things are happening. So I'm really excited for this one. This is the couple that we are going to be working with today. So I'm just going to real fast go up to select and down to subject. We are using Photoshop CC today, as well as a Wacom Intuos Pro editing tablet, and I will be using my blue light blocking glasses so that I don't hurt my eyes as we are doing this. So we've got our really cool couple here. We've also got some really cool backgroundy type things going on. So I'm thinking we've got the castle here. We are going to pop our girl here, and I actually removed the guy. I was testing that out earlier, so we're ready to go with that one. And I'm going to jump in and do a little bit of refining work. Then we are going to put a foreground here, so we're going to have the grass here. We're going to cover up her feet. We're going to add a sword in where the hand is. We're going to clearly have to remove the man's fingers. And we're just going to clean this up a little bit because it didn't quite get it just the way that I needed to. So I'm on a soft round brush, 100% opacity. Okay, it was working. Well, I didn't know what happened there. It didn't quite get where I needed it to go. So I'm just very quickly coming in and just removing any of the haloing effect that doesn't work there. We've got a weird thing going on her shoulder over here, so we're just going to fix that and remove any of the pixelation and the haloing. Usually the selection does pretty well, I have found. Since I have been using that, I recently learned this little trick on how to do that. It has been working fairly well, but there's some pixelation. This one is actually the worst one I've seen it do. So we're just going to clean it up quite a bit here. And we are just going to come in and we're just refining the edge of her bodice. And I'm just running along her arm here to kind of remove some of the pixelation. And putting that together just like that. Beautiful. Now, if you look over at her hand that is now sticking out to the side with nothing in it, we are going to be adding in a sword in just a minute. But first, we have to remove her former lover's hand there. So we're going to come back and we're going to remove those fingers in just a minute. We're going to blend that in. We're going to use the spot heal tool for it, and possibly the clone tool as well. But right now, I'm just kind of finishing up with my, oops, definitely just cut her toe off there. Going to finish up a little bit with my halo effect. I'm not too worried about her toes because I'm actually going to be covering some of that up with some grass in just a little bit. But we want to remove most of the haloing on this. So I'm not too terribly worried. We'll see what we're covering up dress-wise. I'm not overly worried about that, but I'm just coming in and making sure there's no little bits in her hair that I need to refine. And if you're joining me, if you're jumping in, go ahead and let me know where you're joining me from, how your weather is, where you are, all the fun, fabulous things. We're going to be creating today a green-inspired cover, so start thinking up some titles for this and let me know that you are here hanging out with me. All right, now that I've gotten the haloing taken care of, I'm actually going to come in on my layer, and I'm going to grab my spot heal tool, and I'm just going to rasterize my layer, and then I am just going to start going over top of the fingers. And because the skin tones were very similar, it really just disappears very quickly. And so I am just kind of running over this with the spot heal tool. I don't even need to come in with the clone tool. And I'm actually pretty good to go right there. That is not bad at all. So the next thing I'm actually going to do, let me pull back for a second. I'll show you what we've got going on for the sword in just a second. So I've got, where's my sword? So I've got this big sword. I'm actually going to resize this a little bit, and we're going to put it right in her hand there. I did check that earlier, but we do need to come in and we need to actually check on the placement of that. So we can see that she's kind of like running with a sword into battle to save her country or whatever it is. Ooh, wrong layer. And so I'm just going to kind of adjust this to where it needs to be situated inside of her hand. I may need to actually come in and do a little bit more cleanup on her hand just because there's part of where his hand would be. And I'm just going to remove that a little bit. I'm just trying to decide where I want. There we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, beautiful. So now she's holding the sword and we are good to go with that one. So I'm going to back myself up. Perfect. So do we like this so far? Are we liking the look of it? I'm loving how it's working out so far. I am going to be building out the background, and I am going to be building out the foreground, which is where her feet will be. So let me come in here and show you what I actually have. So we've got kind of like this. Well, it's actually kind of cool looking as it is. Just saying, friends, just saying. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to use my quick selection on this. Whoop, nope, wrong button. Wrong button. Hang on. My object selection tool. There we go. Beautiful. And I am just going to, boop, there we go. We've got our background. We are going to have to do a little bit of haloing work on this, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Sorry, it went way too far on that one. Zooming in a little bit, not a ton. And I am just going to grab a soft round brush 100% opacity. And, oops. And I want to actually switch it over from a hard round brush to a soft round brush. There we go. And I'm just going to start removing part of this halo. And because it is going to be kind of blurred out, it's actually okay that it is kind of on that bigger size. And we're just removing any of the haloing effect there. And I actually may reduce my opacity a little bit and kind of blend just a touch. There we go. Good, good, good. I'm going to grab a hard round brush, 100% opacity, and I'm going to fill back those rocks, or fill back in those rocks. There we go. So those are a little less pixelated. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. So now let me pull back out and we'll take a look at how this looks. Great. Okay, okay, okay. So now, keeping in mind, this is something that where we would definitely have to build out our background. So we're not quite done with that yet. I'm going to build that out. Then I'm going to blur it. I'm going to use Gaussian Blur because anything in the background would be out of focus. And we have to make sure that it all makes sense logically when we're doing a composite image. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to duplicate that layer. And I'm just going to kind of start to bring it in over here. And I might actually just kind of make it a little bit bigger. And let's see. There we go. So that I kind of fill that out a little bit. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to put a layer mask over it, and then on soft round brush 100% opacity, I am just going to remove that harsh line. Oops, definitely just moved my brushes. There we go. Okay, we're good. I'm just going to remove part of this so that it kind of starts to blend it in a little bit more. You can kind of see where I overshot a little bit there. But you can kind of see how that's starting to fill in there, and it almost kind of looks like that's just a building in the background, so that actually kind of works for me. I can run with this. I can run with this. So that's actually not bad. I do want to refine a little bit where it got a little fuzzy up at the top. I'm just going to go really, really small, and I'm just, oops, going to come in on my black brush, and I'm just going to kind of fill that in so it looks more along the lines of grass. There we go. That's a little less blurred, which makes it kind of nice. I'm going to need a title. And it looks like I've got some fabulous people here hanging out with me, but nobody's talking to me. So y'all start coming up with some title ideas, please. My next step is to actually create my background, and I'm just going to put it in a folder. I'm going to call it background, and then I'm going to duplicate that and turn it into a smart object so that it's all one layer. And then I can just turn that on and off so you can see kind of where that is and what the deal is there. The next thing to do would be go up to filter, down to blur, down to Gaussian blur. And at that point, we're going to, yeah, just like that, except that's a little blurred. So I'm just going to kind of pull that back a little bit. But you can kind of see how now all of a sudden it stands out a little bit more. So I'm just finding the right fit, the right mix for this. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Or maybe no, I definitely want it like that. There we go. Hey, hello, hi, thank y'all for joining. I would like to hang out wherever this is. This is actually bits and pieces of Ireland that I am putting together. So St. Patrick's Day, we're like going all in. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is do a little bit of color correction, and we're going to need to add in some grass pieces. So I've got the grass. We're going to fill that in around her foot so it doesn't look like she's like floating above this thing. We're going to kind of put some grass along the, whoa, hey, okay. We're going to put some grass along the hill, this little cliff that we've got going on here, so we don't have quite so sharp of a blur there. And then I'm going to do some foreground work as well, which I'm very excited for. So let me go ahead. Next thing that I want to do is my color correction. So I'm just going to come into a brightness and contrast panel. I'm going to use my clipping mask to the background layer there. And I'm going to bump up my contrast. And I might even bump up my brightness just a little bit to make her pop just a touch. And I like that. That works for me. And so the next thing that I'm going to do, I actually may work on that foreground grass. So real quick, let me go in and do a brightness and contrast panel. I'm just going to clip it right to that. And I'm going to bump up my contrast just so that blends a little bit. Yeah, I like that. That works for me. The next thing that I want to do is definitely work on that grass. So I am just going to pop up some grass here that I have. And I'm just going to, and actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate those because I'm going to make these small. And I'm going to adjust where I need them to be. So I'm just going to click Command T for transform. And there you can see it kind of blends in more with the grass around her foot. So now I'm just going to grab the different pieces of grass and put them in different places over top of her foot and over top of her skirt so that it blends in and it looks like she's actually there and not standing weirdly on top of some strange grass. So you can see how that already starts to blend it in a little bit more. And I'm just going to maybe rotate this a little bit and just kind of blend that in where it needs to be. There we go. Better, better. We like it. So now we can actually start duplicating some of these and we can put them in other locations as well. We can actually kind of go in front of her dress so that it looks like she's, you know, running through the actual grass. I might duplicate this one, make it a little bit bigger and kind of, whoop. And I'm just going to fill this in different locations. I'm just going to rotate it to the side. There we go. You can see how it's already starting to blend her in a little bit more, which is kind of nice. The next thing that I want to do is, oh, I see exactly what I did there. Haha. I am going to grab more of this grass and I am just going to put this over by the hill. So I'm actually going to drag this underneath her layer so that it's not going to go in front of her. And I'm just going to kind of fill in some of this area over here so that it kind of doesn't have quite the halo look that it had. There we go. And we're just going to continue to add this in. This is all the same piece of grass, so it's not going to stay this way because we don't want the exact same thing everywhere. But I am just doing one section at a time, so I'm just kind of using the same grouping of grass and putting it where I want it to fill in. And then I'm going to fill it in with some of the other grass as well. So we're just building that in. The other thing I can also do is go to Edit, down to Transform, down to Flip Horizontal. And I'm going to then have a completely different look to it, which is kind of nice. So then I'm going to go back up. I'm going to grab one of the other types of grass. And I am going to drag that down. You can see that's nice and big right there. Need to make that a little bit smaller. And we're just going to fill this in up here. There we go. And we're just filling in the grass in different locations, different places, so that it just kind of blends in. And it blends that hill right in where we need it to blend. So we're just adding this in, again, in different locations, so that it kind of looks like it. And we can do different sizes as well, because all grasses will not be the same size. And we're just going to kind of put little things and big things. And I might even kind of put it just very closely stacked together at different heights so that it has a different look to it. But see how that's already starting to blend all of this in? That's what we're looking for here. So I'm just adding in grass. There we go. Lots and lots of layers of the grass everywhere. And we're just filling that in. There. See how nicely that worked? That worked beautifully. I'm just filling in just a couple more sections here. And then we will be good to move forward with this. And because it's grass, it just blends. It blends absolutely beautifully. Over the meadow and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go. Is that what we're doing here? Isn't it pretty? Kingdom of the Rift. Oh, I like that. We'll have to work with that. Okay. All right. So now that I've got that part done, I do want to do my grass in the foreground. So I want big grass close to my camera lens. So I'm going to go back up to that grass that I had created before. And I really just want to drag this up to the top here. Not quite that far. There we go. And I'm going to turn this grass on. Yes. We're going to then arrange this a little bit differently. Oh, nope, I like that one there. Sometimes I just have to like figure out what's what and where things go. Oh, yes. I like it. I like it. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm actually just going to drag this right on over so that I have multiple layers of it. There we go. Look at that. And then I'm actually going to drag another section of this to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's nice. Ooh, things are popping up on my screen. There we go. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Let me back up. Beautiful. Now, what I can do is just randomly created a folder. I don't know why, but we'll run with it. We'll run with it. I am just checking the size of my grass here. So I think I got all of my, the big pieces of grass. Let me go ahead. I'm going to label this. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to turn that into a smart object. Then I'm going to go up to filter, down to blur, down to Gaussian blur. And then again, anything in the foreground would be out of focus. So anything in focus is going to be on that plane. The girl, the sword, the grass right on her level, all of that will be in focus. Anything in front of that, anything behind that will be slightly out of focus. So we take that grass and we make it out of focus, and all of a sudden it starts to look more real. Let me turn it on and off. You can see how it's very flat and very one-dimensional here, but this adds depth to it. It adds us that foreground layer and that background layer that really makes it look like it's a photograph that we are creating with this. I don't know why my thing is all over the place here, but maybe this is the suggestion to draw in some more hair. So let me go ahead. I'm going to grab the layer over the girl, and I'm just going to grab a round brush. I'm going to grab a color from her hair, and then on 1 pixel, we're just going to start drawing in some of that random hair flying around. So we're just adding in little bits and pieces of hair. You can kind of see where that is going and where it's coming from, and we're just swooping that hair in wherever I feel like, because it's hair flying in the wind, and it doesn't actually matter where it's going to land because hair flying in the wind. Y'all have hair, you know what it's like. So we're just painting in some hair. We might even grab a second color from this hair. And I'm looking for a lighter color, I think. There we go. I'm going to add in another layer just because if I don't like it, I can fix it. And I'm just going to add in some more pieces of hair, just floating and flying and being beautiful and all the great, wonderful, lovely hair things. There we go. We got it. We're good. Pulling back away. There we go. I'm just going to put that hair in a layer, and I'm going to turn it on and off so you can see how we added volume. Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach that. And I am going to put my girl and her hair in a folder. I'm going to label that so we're good to go. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this because we know I'm terrible about saving things, and we got to make sure that we're doing that. All right. So my next step, I think I want to add a little bit of separation between my girl and the background. So I'm actually going to go down beneath her layer, but above the layer with the background. And I'm just going to add in a blank layer. I'm going to come on over to my gradient tool. I'm going to make sure it's color over transparent. And then I'm going to grab the radial gradient tool, and I'm going to just add in a little bit of darkness. Don't worry, I'm going to fix it. It's not going to be quite so dark, but I just want to add a little bit of separation here. I'm going to build it out. I might actually regret this momentarily, and then we'll have to do it again. Yep, didn't like it. That's okay. Try it again. Sometimes we just have to try and see how things work. And then if it fails, we fix it. And we move forward. Yeah. There we go. And so it kind of makes it separate it just a little bit. Let me turn that on and off for you. You can kind of see how it makes her pop a little bit more. It stands out just a little bit more. I think I do need to perhaps change up that sword just a little bit. It seems a little light at this point, so I'm just searching real fast for my sword level, which is right here. Beautiful. I'm going to highlight that with a color so that I can continue to find said sword. And I'm going to grab a brightness and contrast panel, and I'm going to go up to clipping mask. I'm then going to bump up my contrast and down my brightness. Not a ton, just enough. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Isn't it pretty? It is pretty. I'm liking how this is working. So my next step would be potentially to change my contrast on the girl. So I'm just grabbing a brightness and contrast panel. And I am just clipping it to it and just bumping that up just a little bit so it stands out just a little bit more. We like things when they stand out. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Oh, okay. Next step, friends, is to actually put a title in, and we could put the title on the bottom, and we could even have that grass in front of the title, which I'm almost thinking we might try. We'll find out. Or we could put it up top. So let's see. Let's see what we're going to work with on this one. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to grab my page, and we are going to, what did we call that? What was that word? Kingdom of the Rift. Beautiful. So here we go. Kingdom will be, oh my gosh, you guys, look at how pretty that is. I'm going to bump up my drop shadow just a little bit because I want to make sure that you can like legitimately see this. So I'm just edging it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Kingdom. And I actually want to drag this down. I want to see how this works under the grass. I think the grass might be a little too much at one point. There we go. We'll see. Kingdom. And then we'll do a duplicate layer of that. We will type in of the. And we're going to make that small. Fabulous. And I'm just going to adjust the sizing. Look at the grass in front of it. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? We'll see. We'll see when we get to the last word. Rift, I believe, is the last word, right? Rift. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type that baby in. And I'm going to make this nice and big. And maybe too big. See that grass. That grass. That doesn't mean that it won't work. I could potentially pull it up higher. I'm going to pull it up a little bit more. Yeah, okay, that works. So it's kind of in front of some of the words, but not all of the words. And I am just, I may even make it bigger now. And move it over just a touch. Yeah, that's not bad. That's kind of cute. So then the only other thing is I would actually need to move this over just a little bit. And then I would want to bump the other words over just to center it just a tiny bit within the context of the frame that we have to work with. So I'm just going to move it over. There we go. That's cool. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to duplicate. No, I'm not. Don't do that. Whatever you just did, don't do. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to bring it up to the top, and I'm going to put author name. We're going to adjust that. Don't worry. Author name. And I can either leave that up here, and I would adjust the blur, or, and I just want to try this to see, because this might actually be preferable. I think it's preferable down at the bottom. And I actually don't mind it right there with the grass. It will, of course, depend on the author's name. But for now, I kind of like it like that. So I'm going to leave it like that. That's the way. So then the next thing is to check in with you guys. You're obsessed. It's pretty. It's beautiful. Yes. Isn't it lovely? I'm loving on this. The next thing I'm going to do is play with my lighting, which means I need to come over to all of my fun lighting things that I've got going on over here and moving that and jumping into this one. Okay, so then the next thing is to add in some light. I'm almost thinking I might want to do some like light leaks, some bokeh type stuff coming in from the side. So let me go ahead and I am going to look for what I want with this. This is either going to be really cool or it's going to epically fail. And I got two potential choices on this one. So let me come in. I'm going to bring this baby in. I'm going to flip it horizontal. And then I'm going to flip it to screen. And then I'm just going to move it over a little bit. I don't think I like it. I think I don't like the way that it took that. All right, let me try the other one. The other one is less of, and again, we're going to flip this baby over horizontally. And then if this doesn't work, we've got other options. We can do other things too. I just kind of want to see what this is going to turn it into? See, I like it around her. I don't like it with the sword. I'm going to try something else. Let's see what else I have got. Let me try. Oh, let's try this one. Maybe let's try this one. All right, I'm going to switch that over to screen. See, I kind of want to leave the top of that cliff like where it is. So let me remove that. Let me try. I'm going to try something else entirely. Let's ditch that idea and let me search for that. Okay, this could be a potential color that we're using. We like these colors. These colors are good. Ooh. Well, now there's a pop, people. There's a pop. Let's see. I'm just kind of seeing where that fits. I'm going to go into filter Gaussian Blur. And that could kind of, I actually might want to, I'm going to go Command T for transform. And then I'm just going to change this. Ooh, I kind of liked it in front of her face there. Ooh, yeah. I kind of like that. I'm just going to adjust this just a little bit. And I actually want to put a layer mask over that. And then a soft round brush. Oh man, soft. I am on a lower setting. I just want to take off part of the line there. There we go. Yeah. Okay, I kind of like that. That works for me. So then I want to add a little bit of light over to the side. And another thing that I could potentially do if I wanted to, I could actually come in here and I could grab that same flare and I could screen blend mode that, make it really small, and then bring this up to the sword. And we could put it over the sword somewhere. That might be a little too big, a little too intense. I don't know quite yet. Whoa! Hey, don't do that. Photoshop has some new features that allows you to do warping without actually needing to go into the warp tool, which also means on occasion it does some weird stuff to you. That's not bad. What I'm going to do is real quick, I'm going to duplicate that and then I'm just going to rotate it. So I don't quite know if I want it like at an angle. Oh no, I wanted it straight. Straight was good. Redo. Here we go. So I kind of like that. That definitely makes it pop. But in addition to that, we're actually going to duplicate this, and I'm going to drag this layer up to the top because I want it to go over top of my... Oops, I'm still not high enough. That's okay. Going to come up over my text. There we go. And then I'm just going to see where I might like this on my title somewhere. And so I'm just looking to see where it might look cute, where it might fit. Yeah. Okay, I can live with that. And I'm just kind of, oh, you know what my problem is right now? Real quick, I got to put a layer mask because it actually has a weird wonky frame around it real quick. We're just going to get rid of that. So I'm just going to paint off anything that is not here, and I actually see that up higher too, so we'll have to play with that in just a minute. And I am just going to move this. Typically it doesn't sit very well. Things are just showing up on top of my computer. What is going on? I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to see where it's going to fit. Okay. On the O is okay. And we're just going to see where this might potentially work. Yeah, it's close enough. Let's see, lower. Higher. Be right on the edge. Usually I don't like that, but we're going to run with it for this one. Okay. Not bad, not bad. So now we've got some like flashy things going on here. I am liking it. What I do want to do, I want to go down to, I guess, beneath my text layers, and I'm just going to add a basic or a blank layer. I'm going to go into my gradient tool on a linear gradient tool with black. I'm just going to draw a little bit of a line to kind of pull that in from the bottom there. And then I'm going to grab the radial gradient tool, and I'm just going to do a little bit of darkness on some of the edges here just to kind of tie that in. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We love this. This is pretty. This is really pretty, actually. Actually, it's really pretty. All right. So the next step is to actually grab another one of my title pieces. I'm going to go ahead and drag this up. And I am going to then move this over here. We're going to put this on the spines. We're going to say kingdom. I don't know why it keeps zooming in. Sorry, apologies. Kingdom of the Rift. And we are going to go into edit down to transform down to clockwise 90 degrees. And we're just going to shrink this baby down again. And as always, this will be changing based on the spine size of the person who buys this. And so I'm just going to edge this down just a touch because it's over top of that. There we go. Beautiful. And then I'm just, because I already have the author thing there, we didn't even change the font. Thank goodness. I'm so happy. I'm just going to remove my outer glow. And we're actually good to go there. So the only other thing that I would want to potentially do is play with that drop shadow over on that hook line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that up. And I'm just going to make this a bit darker so that it clearly stands out. Beautiful. And then I could add some sparkles if I wanted. I don't know if I want to. I am going to go on top of all my layers and add a brightness and contrast panel. And I'm just going to bump up my contrast by all kinds of things. Yes, I am. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's so pretty. Do you guys love this? I love this. I want to keep this a little bit. If I had a story for this, man. You can, by the way, buy this for $100 right now while we are on air if you are a publisher and author. Otherwise, it goes over to coveraday.com. This will probably be like $350 for this one. So if you want it, now is the time. I'm looking at the background. Nope, I need to fix it. I'm just gonna call it. I'm coming down to my background layer real fast, and I'm just gonna grab a spot heal tool. And until this very moment, I had actually liked the fencing, the gate there around the pathway, but now it just kind of looks a little too modern. I'm just gonna remove the path altogether. Who even cares? Look at that. Just gone. Boom. Better. Fixed. Lovely. We're good. Okay, so at that point, I am just going to take the frame off so y'all can see what we're working with here. Look how pretty that is. Look at how pretty that is, you guys. The only other thing that I want to add just a little bit of, I want to go down underneath the layer with my model on it. And I am just going to, where is that? Here? No? Here we go. I'm going to call this Shadow Under Girl, and I just want to grab my radial gradient tool, and I'm just going to add a little bit of separation between that skirt and the grass under her. Just a little bit here, and then I'm just going to remove the, or turn down the opacity just a touch, and that really just helps it to pop a little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys, how cool is this? Oh, that's so pretty. I love it. I love it. I love it. This has been a fantastic cover that we have created today. So this is our St. Patrick's Day inspired green cover. I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I am loving what came from today's creation. I totally want to write this story, and I might have to write this story. It will maybe or maybe not be available over on coveraday.com. You can go check it out and see some other covers that are available as well. As always, we are creating covers here every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We got this done in a really good amount of time. Usually we hang out for about an hour. We got this done in 34 minutes. So look at us go. Congratulations to us. We just did really, really cool work. I am so excited for this one. Let me know, what type of cover would you like to see next week? This is a great way, if you are an author or publisher, to get me to sneakily create a custom cover for you for only $100, because you can tell me a genre and then you can come make suggestions about what the model looks like and what the background looks like and literally customize it while we're on air to your benefit. And I just told you that you can totally do that that's acceptable. So head on over to coverday.com to check out more really cool covers, and we will be back next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let me know, do you want to see dystopian? Do you want to see a couple? Do you want to see text-based? Do you want to see paranormal? Do you want to see magic? Do you want to see epic fantasy? Do you want to see a dragon? What do you want to see? You let me know. We will vote on all the good, fabulous, wonderful things. And next week, we're going to create a brand new cover live on air together. Until next week, I hope you all have a fantastic day and stay inspired. Bye, friends.